welcome to the Mind Fuck Podcast. Yeah! Welcome, my friend. Thank you so much for taking time out to hang out with me. I am uber grateful you're here. It's a beautiful day to be alive. My name is Wanu Ali Shea, and sometimes I do go by Amazing Soul. Welcome. FCK stands for fun, compassion, and kindness. And on the podcast, what we essentially talk about is nervous system regulation, how to safely build trust between your brain and your body, and also remembering parts of ourselves we may have forgotten along the journey. Now, we do have like a little tradition that we do right before we start each podcast where I read a list, and the title of the list is Reminders to Being Human. Now, the intention behind reading that list is to remind myself and also in the hopes to remind you on your journey. All right, let's get into it. Reminders to being human. Have fun along your journey. Show yourself compassion. Be kind to others. Being complex and being simple can hold true in the same breath. Stay curious. Hold space for pauses. Hold space for not knowing. Never underestimate the power of silence. Nature has a lot of wisdom. Pay attention. There is power in we than I. If nothing else makes sense, come back to love. Pain is our greatest teacher. And the very last one, never underestimate your ripple of existence. Yay! All right, my friend. Now let's get into the fun part of the show. All right. Now I want you to picture something simple. It's a random Friday morning. Nothing special is happening. You wake up maybe a little later than you wanted to. And your phone is already in your hand before your feet even touches the ground. And you scroll, probably look at a few messages, a few notifications, maybe a video, and you look at maybe someone's life on social media, it looks very put together, and then you pause for a second, and there's this quiet thought in the background of your mind, and you ask yourself, why does my mind feel so messy right now? Now, bear in mind, you're not in crisis, nothing is actually wrong, but your mind feels so fucking loud. Your mind feels very scattered. Imagine like 10 tabs are open at the same time and none of them are fully loading. That's how your mind feels. And if you've ever had a day like that, this episode is for you. But I want to speak to you differently today, my friend. Not like I have it all figured out. It's not from some clear version of me. I want to speak to you like I'm sitting next to you on that random Friday when I was still in it. Because I know that version of me. I remember that version of me very, very clearly. That version of me was trying to find clarity by thinking harder, by analyzing more, by trying to figure it out. There was a version of me that existed. And doing that just made everything worse for me. Now, let me take you into a very real moment in my life. I mean, I remember one time I was sitting in my car. It was in a parking lot and I had somewhere to be. it was something simple, nothing overwhelming. And I just sat there and my hands were on the steering wheel, not moving. I just sat there, right? And I kept telling myself, okay, what's the plan, Wanu? Um, what should we do next? Right? And the more I asked myself those questions, the more stuck I felt. I mean, my chest felt tight. My thoughts were looping, and I kept waiting. I kept waiting for clarity to show up. Like it was something I had to find, right? But here's what I did not understand back then: clarity doesn't come from forcing your mind to organize itself. No, that's not how it works. It comes when your system feels safe enough to settle. Safety is the key word here, my friend. Without safety, you cannot experience clarity. And I know that sounds simple, almost too simple, but I want you to stay with me. Because if you are anything like me, you have probably tried to think your way into clarity, right? Now, I'm going to give you another real life moment. It's late at night, you're in your bed, the lights are off, and you have your phone in your hand, and you're probably watching a video on Instagram or reading something on Threads or Substack. And suddenly, you come across something that explains you perfectly to the T, right? And for a moment, everything clicks. It's like, oh my God, I feel so seen right now, right? And you tell yourself, like, wow, this is exactly me. This is why I do this. This is why I feel this way. That's what you literally tell yourself in that moment. And in that moment, it feels like clarity, right? But the next day comes and you're in the same environment, same small moment, and suddenly you're back in your head again. And you suddenly start to feel confused, you start to overthink, you start to second guess yourself, right? And you think to yourself, like, wait. I thought I understood this already. What's happening? And I will tell you this, that used to frustrate me so fucking much, right? Because I thought for so many years that clarity meant once you get it, you stay clear. That's what I thought. That was a belief system of mine. But that's not how it works. No, at least from my lived experience, that's not how it works. Clarity is not a permanent state. Clarity is something that comes and goes based on how safe your body feels in the moment you're in. That's how you experience true clarity. And for me, I had to learn this the very hard way. Now, I want to share something very personal from my life. There was a period in my life, that was just after I left the military in 2022. Everything felt very uncertain, right? Because at that point in my life, my routine had dramatically changed, my structure had changed, and my identity felt very shaky, right? And my mind was constantly trying to figure out my life. My mind was constantly saying, okay, what's next? What should we do? Am I on the right path? Am I doing the right thing? Those were the thoughts. And I remember waking up some mornings just already tired as fuck. Not physically tired, but mentally drained, right? Because my brain had been running loops all night, trying to solve a problem that didn't actually need solving. And what I started noticing was this: the more I tried to force clarity, the more unclear I felt. It's a beautiful paradox. And it was like trying to smooth water by hitting it. It's not possible. right? You just create more ripples. So one day, and this wasn't some big breakthrough moment. No, it was actually very, very small um reliance on or being aware of what happened. I stopped trying to figure anything out. I just stopped. Not forever, but just in that moment, that little window. And I remember I was in my kitchen and I had a glass of water in my hand. And instead of going back into my head, I just focused on drinking the water. That's it. That's all I did in that moment. I mean, filling the glass, feeling the temperature of the water, feeling the water going through my throat, just taking a very slow sip, right? And for a few seconds, my mind got quieter. Not because I solved anything, no, but because I stopped feeding the noise in my brain. I just stopped. And that was the first time I experienced this. Clarity is not something you chase. Clarity is something that shows up when you stop overwhelming yourself and your body. That's when clarity shows up. Now, let me bring this into like everyday life. I want you to imagine this. Let's just say you're about to send a message, like a very simple text message, right? And suddenly you pause and you tell yourself, is this the right way to say it? Should I change that word? Okay, what if they misunderstand me? That's what you tell yourself. And now you're stuck on a message that should have taken 10 fucking seconds, right? That is not lack of intelligence. No, that's not lack of knowing. No. What is actually happening is that your system, your nervous system is being overloaded. That's what's happening. And when your nervous system is overloaded, your mind tries to compensate by thinking more. But thing is, more thinking does not create clarity. No. Actually, more thinking creates more confusion. All right. Now let me take you into another scene, right? You're trying to start something simple. Maybe it's at work, maybe it's a small task at work, right? And you open your laptop and you sit there, and instead of starting the small task, you scroll on your phone or you check something else. And or you just sit there. Now, in your head, you're like, damn, why can't I just focus? Or you tell yourself, I know what to do. But your body, though, your body feels off. That's another version of the same thing, right? Your mind is not the problem. No, your capacity in that moment is. Do you see, my friend? And this is the part that I did not understand for a very long time on this journey. Clarity is not just mental, clarity is physical, right? Clarity is how connected you are and how safe you feel, how settled you feel in your body, how regulated you feel in your body. That is clarity. And when your nervous system feels overwhelmed, your mind becomes noisy. And when your nervous system feels supported, your mind becomes clear. So, my friend, the real question is not how do I find clarity? No, that's not the real question. The real question is what is overwhelming me right now that I am not noticing, I'm not aware of? That is the real question and sometimes it's very subtle as fuck. Very subtle. It could be that you're not having enough rest. It could be that you're making too many decisions or there's too much impute, or there's too much pressure on yourself to get it right. It could be any one of those things, because I have had days where nothing big was happening, but my mind felt chaotic as fuck. And when I slowed down enough to look and pay attention, I realized I had been consuming all day, from TV to my phone. I mean, content overload, information, other people's opinion. And my brain had no space to process any of it. That was what's happening. So, of course, I felt unclear, right? Because there's no space in my brain. It wasn't that I needed more answers, it was I needed less noise. So, what does this actually look like in real life, right? I'm going to make it very simple for you, my friend, right? So, clarity starts in very small micro moments, right? It's not big breakthroughs, right? It is small moments, small everyday moments that most of us overlook. For example, putting your phone down and just sitting for a minute. That's how you start to experience clarity. For example, taking a slow breath without trying to fix anything for a few seconds. That's how you can experience clarity. Or, for example, doing one small task without overthinking it, right? Or letting something be unfinished without forcing an answer. That's how you experience clarity. And I know, my friend, this can feel uncomfortable as fuck. I know, I'm aware of this. Because when you stop trying to control everything, it can feel like you're losing control initially, but you're not, right? Because you're creating space in your mind. And in that space, clarity naturally begins to form. That's your body's intelligence without even trying. Now, let me say something very clearly. You do not find clarity by rushing. Mm-mm. You find clarity by allowing things to just be. That's how you find clarity. And I'll tell you this, that took me a long ass time to accept on my journey, because part of me believed for a long time, if I don't figure this out now, something will go wrong. There was a part of me that believed that for a long time, but nothing went wrong. But what actually happened was I started to make clearer decisions in my life. Not because I forced them, no, but because I wasn't rushing them. So if you're listening, my friend, to this on your own random Friday afternoon and your mind feels all over the place, try this. Don't try to fix your whole life. Just look at this moment you're in right now and ask yourself, what is one thing you can do slowly without overthinking it? Maybe it's getting out of bed, right? Maybe it's drinking water slowly. Maybe it's sending that text message without rewriting it 5 times. Maybe. Start there. Start right there, my friend. Something simple that doesn't put pressure on your nervous system, because clarity builds from small moments of presence, not big moments of pressure. And over time, those small moments, they start to add up cumulatively. Your body is already intelligent and knows what to do. Your mind gets quieter, your body feels safer, and clarity starts to feel less like something you're chasing. Do you see? And more like something that meets you when you slow down enough to notice what's already in front of you. That's the power of clarity. So if you're in it right now, I will tell you this. You're not broken, my friend. You're not behind. Your nervous system is simply overwhelmed. That's it. And clarity, it's already closer than you think. It's not in your next thought. No. Mm-mm. But it's in your next small, everyday moment. That's how you experience true clarity in your life. As always, my friend, I am grateful that you took some time out to listen to me. Thank you. Thank you for being here. And I am sending you so much love from my heart to yours. Thank you.